Morning world, just Robbie here, and the Brexit fiasco continues. It is Friday the 15th of January and 7:55. I'm just getting in the car to defrost the windows to go to work and go about my business as I would normally. But what I want to highlight is there's been a load of kerfuffle at the moment, what with Jeremy Corbyn and and all of the so-called dub Ramonas saying we didn't vote for a no deal Brexit, we didn't vote for this, we didn't vote for a no deal Brexit. And I kind of want to highlight to you that actually we did vote for a no deal Brexit. And I'm going to show you a short video of David Cameron giving his speech before he went to Europe to negotiate and before he came back from Europe and then gave the people the vote. It takes about a minute and a half, so do watch it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain it in layman terms so everybody understands.
Ultimately, it will be the judgment of the British people in the referendum I promised that I will deliver. You will have to judge what is best for you and your family, for your children and grandchildren, for our country, for our future. It will be your decision whether to remain in the EU on the basis of the reforms we secure or whether we leave. Your decision. Nobody else's. Not politicians, not parliaments, not lobby groups, not mine. Just you. You, the British people, will decide. At that moment, you'll hold this country's destiny in your hands. This is a huge decision for our country, perhaps the biggest we'll make in our lifetimes. And it will be the final decision. So to those who suggest that a decision in the referendum to leave would merely produce another stronger renegotiation and then a second referendum in which Britain could stay, I say, think again. The renegotiation is happening right now, and the referendum that follows will be a once-in-a-generation choice, an in or out referendum. When the British people speak, their voice will be respected, not ignored. If we vote to leave, then we will leave. There'll not be another renegotiation and another referendum.
So, as you can see, David Cameron went to Europe to negotiate a better deal for the UK whilst staying within Europe. He came back from Europe and Europe was saying to him, no, there's no deal. It's either what you have now and you're in the club, or you leave. So David Cameron then gave the people of this country, these four great countries, England, Scotland, Wales and Ireland, the vote, the choice. And a once-in-a-generation, in-out referendum. In with what we've got, or out with no prospect of a deal on the table because Europe won't negotiate. And 52% of the collective country, the majority, voted to leave, which means we voted to leave on a no deal basis. And I'd like to remind all members of Parliament, my government and everybody up and down this country that we are in a democratic society. Now, when we have a democratic vote and the majority vote in a certain way, that needs to be exercised because we are in a democratic society. If we now start changing that democratic vote, the will of the people, what people voted for, then we start falling into realms of such countries in Africa where actually a democratic vote isn't a democratic vote. You know, it also, and more importantly, and this is the worrying thing, is it would set precedent for future elections, local, general and any other referendums that we may have, that when the outcome is the outcome and the ones who lose don't like it, they can then demand a second vote. So we have to, if we want our democracy to stay in the same way that it is now, which works, and it has worked for a few hundred years, we've got to go for a no deal Brexit at this point, because more importantly, and I don't think Jeremy Corbyn and a few of the other MPs understand this, Europe won't negotiate. That's the deal. you know, Europe, it's not us negotiating a bad deal, it's Europe will not negotiate. So what we need to do is say to Europe, well, fine, no deal Brexit. We're the largest consumer of goods from Europe, so it's in their interest to have a bit of a trade deal. It's in their interest to make sure that goods and services can flow over borders relatively easy. Otherwise, it's going to affect all the economies of Europe, predominantly France, Spain, Germany. Now, just put that in prospect, right? Germany is on the brink of, you know, going into recession. We buy an awful lot of German vehicles, and we are the largest consumer of German vehicles from Europe, along with other European cars, you know, that are built in France and Spain. Spanish farmers, I'm sure, with their perishable produces such as tomatoes, lettuces, and the rest of it that they have, are not going to want to see all of their produce sat at the border, rotting in the back of a truck. No, they're going to want to see it getting into our supermarket shelves. They are also not going to be able to go, well, that's fine, we just won't sell to the UK, because then what do they sell their produce to? They can't just find 65 million people overnight to buy their produce. Same with the car manufacturers. And that's just two that I've highlighted. There's untold others. So, you know, it really, really is the best thing for our democracy is that we exercise the will of the people and the fact that we voted for a no deal Brexit. Thank you for listening.